Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Chapter 12, Corporations and Legal Personality. Okay, I hope my voice is audible and you can hear me clearly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have 7 topics in this chapter, and basically, this chapter is all about companies. Okay, like we did all about partnerships in chapter 11. In this chapter, we are going to study all about companies. And as I told you earlier, that please make notes, keeping in mind that we will study or learn these two things, these two entity structures and type and the laws for it, as in comparison. Okay, this is partnership, this is company. What's the difference? What does the state say about partnership? What does the state say about the company? What rights the partners have? What rights the members have? And how much, to what extent they can exercise these rights, and how much liable they are in each situation. If anybody becomes default, what will be the case? How we are going to handle it? How the court is going to treat it? So all these things we are going to study. We studied about partnership in the previous chapter, and we are going to learn about companies. And I think most of the things about the companies you must be already knowing because of your past knowledge from F1, if you remember
Yes,
it.
ma'am. Yeah.
Start reading. Sole traders and companies' legal identities.
In a sole tradership, there is no legal distinction between the individual and the business.
Okay, now
There is no distinction.
what we are talking about? Who is a sole trader? Just in your layman terms, explain it to me. What do you understand when you hear the word sole trader? What picture comes?
Like he's a business, he's the owner, he's responsible for loss, profit, everything. He's owning everything on his own. He's the only one liable for everything.
Okay, he's the one liable. He is owning everything. Okay, he is the employee. He's the owner.
Yeah.
He is running. He's just running one man alone. It's just one man show. That is a sole tradership. Do you think?
No, but it's not necessary that he's alone. He must be having staff under him. But he's the only one responsible. Nobody else is sharing the profit and loss thing. Even if he's getting the loss, he's the only one who will be getting the loss. But on the other hand, obviously, some of the employees must be working under him. He shouldn't be always the only one.
Okay, you can say that. Uh, how is it possible, or how much is it likely that he must be having a staff? We'll see we'll see it shortly. So right now,
Okay.
what I want to ask you that, do you think every big company that you're seeing right now in your society, in your economic market, in the international market, national market, locally, wherever, maybe you're reading about them in the newspapers, every big company that is present today, do you think their starting point was somewhere or the other back in the time as a sole trader?
Yeah, definitely. Not always, obviously, but definitely there's a 98% chance that the starting point is always a sole trader. Then when they want to grow the business, then they sometimes ask for partnership, people adds up, then they become a company. So the first starting point is mostly the sole trader.
Okay, good. Let's just run down the features of a sole trader. Number one, read.
A sole trader owns and runs a business. They
Okay,
contribute capital.
yeah, continue.
They contribute capital to start the enterprise, run it with or without employees, and earn the profits and stand the losses of the venture. With or without. Like, for example, a fruit wala can also be a sole trader because he's also doing his work. He's not having any employer, but still he will be coming under the heading of a sole trader.
Right. So number one, he owns the business. Number two, he runs the business. Number three, there maybe are employees, maybe no employees. Okay, it can be either way. And fourth, they earn the profit and they bear the loss. So these are the 4 basic features of a sole tradership. Number one, sole trader owns the business. Number two, he runs the business. Number three, with employee or without employee can be either situation. And number four, profit and losses both would be borne by him. Next, sole traders are found mainly in the retail trades, small scale service industries, small manufacturing, craft industries.
Mhm.
Agree with this point?
Yeah, I do. Because whenever there are big things like a big for example, we are building up a big company, a sole trader cannot come up and just start with it. He wants whoever is having a big employees, a big system, only those can be entered. Otherwise, sole traders are mostly retailers, they're just giving the stuff to the industries and stuff like.
Do you think that these sole traders convert into big businessmen, or do they
Yes, they do.
remain sole traders forever and ever?
No, they do.
Right. Legal status of the sole trader. What's the legal status of a sole trader? That means, in the eyes of the law, how does the law see a sole trader? So, number one, business is not legally distinct from the person who owns it. That means that there is no separate legal entity. Whom are we talking
Yeah,
about? We are
sole
talking
trader.
about not a company. We're talking about sole
Yeah.
trader. Please quickly just go through that.
No formal procedures, independence and self accountability. No formal procedures, they don't have to follow any agreement, any go to the register their company. So no formal procedures needed. Independence and self accountability. Independence, they are independent, they can make their own decisions, they don't need a partner, because the decisions going to be very quick here. And self accountability, they are accountable for whatever decisions they are making. If they are lack of funds, or if they are bankrupt, so it's their own responsibility because they have made the decisions. Personal supervision, there is no one on the upper hand, they are their own boss, they have to look into the business by themselves, they have to supervise everything. And all profit of the business occur to the sole trader. This can be a powerful motivator and satisfying to the individual whose ability energy results in a reward. Obviously, if I am the only one running for example, an academy, so obviously I'll be more interested to put up more students in it to improve my academy. So obviously, a sole trader has the best motivation. Mostly, they have more motivation because they see
that.
the reward very.
He's a risk taker. He's an
Yes,
initiator. Who initiates takes risk. And when he takes risk, he's called entrepreneur. He's called sole trader. And that's a quality. And that's great. That's a great quality a leader should have. A person who wants to do something big in life, he must be an initiator. How will
exactly.
you do anything if you don't initiate?
That's right. Mostly, I've seen people who are doing job, they cannot make quick decisions. They take a lot of time. They're not risk takers, but whoever are business people,
Play safe. Right? They don't want to take
yeah,
risk. They don't want
exactly.
any kind of loss.
True, because they're not habitual of it. But businessmen, they are very quick risk takers and they make decisions very quickly and wisely.
True, true. Can you call them fearless, Kinza?
Not fearless, to be honest, but on the other hand, as compared to the other people, yes, a bit fearless.
Okay, right, right. Okay, let's come to the disadvantages. What are the disadvantages?
If a business gets into debt, a sole trader's personal wealth, for example, even private house, might be at a loss in its the debts are called in as they are the same legal entity. Obviously, if there is a loss, he will have to even sell his own car, his own business, because nobody else is sharing the loss. Expansion of the business is usually only possible by plowing back the profits of the business or further capital. Although loans or overdraft finance may be available, most of the time we are just extending our business. We have to take out profits and then extend in the business, because obviously we want to take less risk, because we are the only one who are liable. So we would try not to take a lot of loans, although we can take, if sole trader can also take. A business has a high dependence on the individual, which can mean long working hours and difficulty during sickness or holidays, when everything is dependent on me. If I'm a sole trader, so nobody else is there to look after it. If even I'm on holidays, even like it's a Saturday, Sunday, late night, doesn't matter. So obviously I have to, whoever is the person has to look all the, it's very dependent on me. The death of the proprietor make it necessary to sell the business in order to pay the resulting tax liabilities, or family members may not wish to continue the business anyway. This has happened a lot in Pakistan. I've seen, like, Beacon House City. First, they were owned by the main people. Even you talk about any other, I have seen so many shops like jewelers. They were like Almaz Jeweler. I've seen they were on the top of their time. But now, when their kids are coming in the business, no, they're not that interested. They don't own it much. So it happens if there is a death in the business, so other people don't take it very seriously. The individual may only have one skill. A sole trader may be, say, a good technique engineer or craftsman, but may lack the skills to market effectively, or to maintain accounting records to control the business effectively. Yes, they are specialists in their own way, only one way. If you are working, like two partners are working, one can take the pressures, the other can take the other thing. So everything is going on one person. So obviously, it's not. It's just kind of a specialization in one area. Other disadvantages include lack of diversification, absence of economies of scale, and problems of raising finances. Lack of diversification, absence of economy of scale, lack of diver. I think lack of diversification comes in like a lack of ideas only. Just like, for example, if I am doing any business, I'll just be going with my own ideas. If anybody pops in, obviously they will also be putting up the ideas. And absence of economies of scale, because we are just doing on a small scale. If like I'm doing a big business, I'll be buying in bulk. So sometimes there's a lack of a economy of scale problem as well.
Right, Kinza, very well explained all the disadvantages. So, Ali, can you tell me without reading, through your observation and your knowledge, that what could be a disadvantage for being just a sole trader?
First thing is, ma'am, that comes to my mind is that responsibility to pay tax, and having the personal liability. Second thing come to my mind is like there is no like such role defined for individual persons, that they are used to do like variant jobs, so they are sometimes inefficient and not performed well as they are expected. And the last thing is like there's more income tax rates and like more dependency on your employees and and laborers as well. So there is like an informal structure, so you cannot get much unless you have like defined the SOPs of your
Exactly.
in
Burden on
business.
one person, only one person is going to bear all the burden, whether of tax, whether of debts, whether of loss. Again,
Hmm,
diversification,
exactly.
lack of diversification means he has limited knowledge, he has specific knowledge. If there are no people in his company and he's just running a one man's show, then he won't get all the knowledge of other people, the expertise of other people, and he cannot be 100% perfect for his business, right? He might be having some knowledge, but he needs assistance from the experts in the field of different fields like IT, marketing, and how to increase your business, your finances, so many things. But when you're working as a sole trader, at that time you're working on a very small level. Can you give me some examples, Ali, for sole traders that you see around you?
Yeah, there are many. For example, uh, different spare parts sellers, different boutique owners, and you can say different coaching centers as well, that is run on like a group of people or a single member.
Can
Usually, schools are owned by a single sole member. So that is just a group of two or three that are running on
the
the
sole
business.
trader registered person? Does he register himself as a company?
Not as a
No,
company, but yes, they are registered in income tax.
Right. Not as a company, but yes, they would be registered somewhere. What about the
Yeah.
man who's selling
hmm,
fruits on the thela?
No, he is
they are
not
also
registered, but
considered in
there
this
should be a little.
category.
Uh,
Hmm?
there's a limited slab, tax slab. If like you are coming under it, then you will be have to. If you are coming under it, then you don't need to register. But later, if you are earning like a specific amount, maybe more than, I guess, 90 or 80. 1,000. It depends on the percentage of the tax slab. So if you're earning above it, then you have to register yourself for as a filer.
For registration, there is a revenue generation criteria. If your revenue exceeds that amount, then you have to get yourself
Have to get.
registered and pay the taxes. Okay, coming to the companies. What's a company? Ali, please read.
Yeah, 1 second, ma'am. Screen is disappeared. Just hang on a second.
It disappeared. You're not able to see.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, I can see. I think there's some problem with Ali's.
So, Kinza, you read. What's a company?
Yeah.
A company
Ma'am,
has a
it is
legal
reconnecting.
personality.
Ji, Ali.
A company has a legal personality.
अच्छा वो
He's
दोबारा
saying he's reconnecting. Yeah. A company has a legal personality separate from its owner, known as members. It is a formal agreement surrounded by formality and publicity, but its chief advantage is that members' liability for the company's debt is typically limited.
So a company has a legal personality, number one, which is different from a sole trader and a partnership, right? It separates its owners, known as members. It is a formal arrangement. The second difference, formal arrangement, whereas the partnership and the sole trader both are informal. They can be informal, right? Surrounded by formality and publicity, but its chief advantage is that members' liability for the company debts is typically limited. So this is the third. The members have limited liability. A, separate legal personality. B, formal arrangement. C, liability is limited. Main features. A company's most popular form of business association. Okay, this is done. Definition of a company, we have gone through it. Legal personality, no. It's an artificial person.
Yes.
And it is treated as a natural person. It is an artificial person in the eyes of law, and it is treated as a natural person in the eyes of law. Okay. Corporate personality. Corporate personality is a common law principle that grants a company a legal identity, A, separate from members, B, follows that the property of a company belongs to that company, not a particular person. C, debts of the company must be satisfied from the assets of the company. D, the company has perpetual succession until wound up. What do you understand by this last feature? बाकी सब तो हम समझते आ रहे हैं, कोई ऐसी मुश्किल बात नहीं. The company has perpetual succession until wound up. Ali, any idea? आपका म्यूट है माइक. Can't hear you, boy. Okay, any idea, Kinza? Okay. Perpetual succession until wound up. Let's break it. अगर ये एग्जाम में आ जाता तो कैसे समझते हैं? अगर ये वर्ड एग्जाम में आ जाए और जाहिर एग्जाम में आपको 100% चीजें नहीं मालूम होती, आप पढ़ के नहीं जा रहे होते, और अगर पढ़ा भी होता है तो भूल जाते हैं, तो फिर क्या करेंगे? हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड? टेल मी, हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड इट?
As this, a company has perpetual succession until wound up. They have combined liabilities until it's wound up.
All right. The word which you cannot understand over here is which word? Ali,
Perpetual.
you
Although we've done it in accounts.
Yes, Kenza, perpetual is the word.
Ali, you're mute. Yes.
Oh, sorry, the mic was mute. Yeah, basically, perpetual is like a word I know, but succession doesn't, like, it doesn't sum up. What does it mean altogether?
Perpetual is the word.
I know the meaning of the perpetual, which is like continuous, but succession.
I got it. Succession is the word which Ali cannot understand. Kinza, which word you can't understand?
Almost both perpetual and succession.
Perpetual and succession both. Okay. Now, succession comes from the word success. Success तो पता है ना सबको,
हम्म।
वो भी नहीं पता.
नहीं मैम, वो बहुत अच्छा पता है।
Now, what happens when you are appearing for an exam? You need to use some of your common sense because it cannot happen. शायद इस पेपर में ऐसा कुछ ना हो, मगर आने वाले F5, F9, maybe P in professional papers, there might be some words which you are completely unaware or you're hearing or reading for the first time. How are you going to get out a meaning from it when all the questions are compulsory to answer?
Hmm.
Right? You can't leave any question. So, tip number one, read the context.
Context.
Tip
Context.
number one, read the context. शायद context में समझ आ जाए, जो कि यहाँ
Hmm.
पे context से भी समझ नहीं आ रहा. ठीक है. Tip number two, break it down. Break it down. See what you can understand and what you cannot understand. Break it down. So we found out that okay, perpetual नहीं समझ आ रहा, succession नहीं समझ आ रहा, until wound up समझ आ रहा है. ठीक हो गई. We broke it down. Break it down further into minute details. Like for example, कि एक अंदाजा है कि succession, success का word सुना है. Success का word सुना है. Okay, success
आने
means
वाला.
succession. एक और word success से related क्या है? Successor. What's a successor? Kenza, do you know who's a successor?
Who has succeeded?
Successor उस context में भी use करते हैं कि मेरे बाद कौन आएगा. I am
Okay, okay.
looking after, I say right now, who will come after me? Who would be my successor?
Hmm.
Oh,
Like happen in prophets and all. Hmm.
Okay. So now succession अब कहीं connection यहाँ से जुड़ेगा. Perpetual, perpetual यानी continuous, perpetuity सुना है ना?
hmm.
क्या होता है?
Perpetual periodic.
हमेशा में, ठीक है. So perpetual. So the company has a perpetual
To
succession
keep working.
until
Yeah, the company has to keep working until the other person joins up or
the
takes over the control.
now, अब पूरे context में बात समझो. The company is a separate legal personality. It is not dependent upon the individual. Individual can fall sick, individual can die, individual can leave, individual can be disloyal. Anything can happen to the individual. So the company survives with independently without the individual's interference. If one individual has to go, his successor will come. But the company will go on. The company will keep running until it is wound up as per the state orders, court orders, or it's written in the article of association that 3 साल बाद company को हम बंद कर देंगे या 10 साल बाद बंद कर देंगे. Or it is, as we read earlier in our earlier chapters, members voluntary winding up, creditors voluntary winding up, right? We have gone
Yeah.
through all of that. So this is what it means. So I hope you will remember these 3 tips. Any paper kahin bhi kuch bhi mushkil, first try to get the understanding from the concept, जो कि ज्यादातर कॉन्टेक्स्ट से समझ आ जाती है बात, एक कॉमन सेंस बता देती है हाँ शायद ये कहना चाह रहे हैं. फिर भी to get more clarity, break it down further. Connect some words कि अच्छा इससे related और क्या words कभी कहीं सुने नहीं सुने क्या था, तो शायद ये वो, because it's always better to get out the answer through these, using these 3 techniques rather leaving the paper blank. Okay, next, limited liability of members. The fact that a company's members, not the company itself, have limited liability. The members have limited liability. They will not be held completely responsible for the debts that the company has to pay. The company is completely liable, not the members. Protection for members against creditors, protection from business failure, members asked to contribute identifiable amounts. Okay, you have 5 minutes, go through these three 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3, and then you need to explain. Okay. 3 minutes, only 3 minutes. Read it quickly and just explain. Okay, जी, done. Right. तो शुरू हो जाए अली.
Okay, so protection for member against the creditor. Basically, there is a protection of members against the creditor. For example, they are not like uh, they are liable without your. Hang on a second.
ठीक
Okay,
ठीक है.
okay. So protection for members against the creditor. The company itself is liable without limit for its own debts. If the company buy plastic from another company, for example, it owes other companies money. Okay, so limited liability company is a benefit to member. They own the business, so might people whom creditors logically ask to pay the debt of the company if the company is alive. Okay, so limited liability company, like as we have discussed that there is like a liability which is confined, and like they will not be personally reliable, responsible to pay the debts, but to an limited extent. Second is like protection from business failure. Like if as the company is liable to pay all its debt, then the personal one like will not get the responsibility to like pay, and like they will be responsible to pay all the debt, but up to certain extent.
Okay. So 3 points. If I ask you that, just give me 3 points from here. This paragraph.
This paragraph, like there you can say the liability is limited.
तो पहले बात किसके बारे में हो रही है ये तो बताओ.
पहले
बा-
वाले में 2.1
बात किस हवाले से हो रही है, किन लोगों के हवाले से हो रही है.
members में basically the members are like protected against like creditors, like they will not be responsible to pay all the debts of creditor.
एग्जैक्टली ये बात हो रही है मेंबर्स के प्रोटेक्शन की. ये बात हो रही है
Hmm.
मेंबर्स की राइट्स की. कि मेंबर्स व्हेन दे आर in a company and they are the members of the company, what rights they have this right that they are only liable up to their share.
Limited, limited shares,
Limited,
yeah.
full stop. That's number one, A. Okay. Next, they are not liable for anything else apart from that limited share. Nobody can come and question them. Nobody can come hold their collar and ask them to pay. Okay, nobody can do that. They are only liable for their share. Once they have cleared it, they are free. They are protected. Okay, next, Kinza, protection from business failure.
In this paragraph, they're telling us that okay, company is liable for everything, every debt, whatever they have taken loans from the bank. The company is only one who's responsible, but only the company only if there is a failure in the business. Only like for example, the company is declaring we are bankrupt. Only in this case, when they are unable to pay the debts, only then they will just wind up and the other procedure will go on. By winding up, they will just check. Otherwise, the company is liable, and the company is the only one who has to pay whatever debts they have taken.
Exactly. So if the business fails, the company has to pay off the has to pay off the debts by selling off its assets, selling off the property.
Yeah.
It is completely responsible for its own failure and all the debts. Members asked to contribute identifiable amounts. What about this? Who is going to explain?
They're saying that members are not bound that they have to pay, like they have to pay if the company is winding up, but it is recommended. Sometimes it is required that members should be putting up in the procedure of winding up. Sometimes they need some cash, so then they are sometimes required
Okay. And
to
the other ways in which
contribute.
company can limit their members, what are they? Two types of companies it's mentioned
Hmm.
in C and then.
Guarantee and shares, outstanding amount from the
On one side, company is limited by shares, and In the other way, it is limited by guarantee.
Guarantee.
Limited by shares means what? Limited by guarantee means what?
Limited by shares
Guarantee
means like.
that,
Mhm.
Can
sorry.
you say?
Share means that whatever shares like I'm holding, I will be getting it according to my shares. But guarantee is like a preference share, that or it's just a guarantee that if we will wind up, we will give you this specific amount. I guess it's
Yeah, guarantee is when it's like a contract that ठीक है अगर wind up होता है तो मैं winding up के time 1 लाख दूंगी. पहले से आपने
ठीक.
मुआयदा तय कर लिया, पहले से आपने एक गारंटी दे दी कि इन केस ऑफ वाइंड अप, इन केस एनीबडी कम्स एंड आस्क फॉर द कंपनी टू पे एंड company is unable to pay, I'll only contribute 1 lakh to it. ठीक है, so that it is possible. Maybe by shares that I have purchased a number of shares, I have purchased 10,000 shares, so I am liable only for 10,000 shares. That's it. Next,
Or
like
that would that be the situation that I would put a like scenario that if I bought like 1,000 shares, so in case of wind up I will be like selling my 600 shares, whatever the amount of it is. Like, can we put this example in the limited by shares?
yeah, why not? Fine. Okay. Next, liability of the company for tort and crime. What about if any tort or crime happens in the company? How much then the company is liable?
Topical
So,
area, but it is outside the
you over here,
scope. Outside the scope.
separate legal entity.
Hmm.
टॉर्ट क्राइम में हो सकती है क्योंकि आप जब एक कंपनी को एज अ पर्सन ट्रीट कर रहे हो तो उससे गलती भी हो सकती है, एक्सीडेंट भी हो सकता है, अनइंटेंशनली कोई क्राइम भी हो सकता है, यस और नो, और इंटेंशनली भी
yes.
क्राइम हो सकता है.
Hmm.
So when you're treating the company as a separate person, then अगर वो कोई crime में involved है तो आपको उसको सजा भी देनी पड़ेगी. But for us, luckily, the criminal liability of companies is not it's out of the scope of our syllabus, so we will not be discussing much about it. Types of companies. What are the different types of companies that exist? Number one, corporation sole. Number two, chartered corporations. Number three, statutory corporations. And number four, community interest companies. These are the four different types of companies. And what are they? How are they? Let's read. First, corporation sole. Kinza.
A corporation sole is an official position which is filled by one person who is replaced from time to time. The public trustee and the treasury solicitor are corporation sole.
Sole. Okay. अब ये एक position का नाम है. क्या कहना है? It's an official position which is filled by one person and it
One
changes from
person.
time to time. And it
Yeah.
usually is the position of a public trustee or a treasury solicitor. Usually. Next.
Where I get that?
Chartered corporations. Ali, please read. What are
Yes,
chartered
ma'am.
corporations?
Yes, ma'am. There are usually charities or bodies such as Association of Chartered Certified Accounts formed by Royal Charter.
What do you understand?
Basically, the Royal Charter like forms few bodies in which one of the is ACCI.
What is the royal charter?
Sorry?
रॉयल चार्टर कौन होते हैं, क्या होते हैं?
Oh, ma'am. Zero idea. Zero idea.
Royal, how will you understand in the exam?
Royal means some like you can say big legal authorities of UK.
Royal family.
Royal family. Yep.
They still have there is still a system that exists in UK where there is a king and queen and there is the democratic parliament as well. But since they acknowledge and they accept the king and queen and they give a lot of regard to them, therefore they have special rights being a part of the royal family. The royal charter, and royal charter is what where the royal family has started a project or has wants this to to progress as a business project. So the royal charter has invested in association of chartered certified accountants. This royal charter has supported and made this body so that a very standardized standard quality and good assurance of all the ethical terms and conditions, all the ethical things we are being taught as ACCAs. Being an ACCA, they always call themselves as a not-for-profit organization, and I have no
Oh
clue
God.
that how is it possible. It's only possible because the royal family is supporting it. The royal charter is supporting it. Now, royal charter does not mean royal family, but yes, it means that the royal family has something to do with the royal charter. Maybe it's a kind of a different जिसको कहते हैं ना सेविंग्स अकाउंट जो वो अपनी कॉम के लिए निकालते रहते हैं ज़कात देते रहते हैं कॉम के लिए. So that's what they do. So next, statutory corporations. Kinza.
Statutory. Kinda.
Statutory corporations are formed by special acts of parliament. This method is little used now as it is slow and expensive. It was used in the 19th century to form railway and canal companies.
Now we know statutory corporations means what? Statutory
States.
state.
Yeah,
State is
states.
making corporations, business organizations, okay, and are
Yeah.
formed by special acts of the parliament. Law is being created for it, and that's good to go. It's slow, it's expensive, yes, because of course if the democracy is into it, then of course
Yeah,
nobody will say no.
the things are layering up. First, one person will decide, the other one will authorize. So it's going to take a lot of time
You
and layer.
remember the meetings, stage reading one, stage reading two, the meetings of the bill to be passed. So
Yeah,
so much of procedure involved. Then Ali, registered companies.
Registered company. Registration under the Companies Act is a normal method of incorporating commercial concern. Any body of this type is properly called a company.
it's just a simple registered company. That if
Simple
you're a company, you
registering
have to
for
get it
commercial
registered.
purpose.
Community interest companies. Ali.
Community interest, special form of company for use by social enterprises pursuing the purposes for the beneficial of the company rather than the maximization of the profit uh, of the owner, created by the company's audit, investigation, and falana, etc.
The name itself suggests community interest companies. The name
Yeah,
has the meaning in it. Okay. Next,
Yep.
limited companies. Limited companies means what? That the limited companies means what? That it is the member, not the company, whose liability for the company's debts may be limited. Keep in mind, it is the member, not the company, because the company by definition itself means that it's a different person and the company
yeah,
has its own existence and therefore all the liabilities with the company. The company
yeah,
has unlimited liability. But when you say limited company, it means the members of that company have limited liability. Now, it can be limited by shares, it can be limited by guarantee. We have discussed this, it's just a repetition without any purpose.
Ma'am, the members of the company are the directors, not the shareholders, right?
See, the members of the company are the shareholders. The directors may also be a member, may also be a shareholder. Don't you think
No,
so?
but they're saying sometimes, yeah, that's right. But sometimes member also have to pay to wind up the company. At that point, I was just thinking that shareholders will never do that. So that means member means
What are you saying?
shareholders will never come in. Like for example, I have invested in AKD.
Guarantee one?
So if it's winding up, sorry.
Are you asking about the guarantee that you are saying that the shareholder cannot give a guarantee?
No, no, no. I was just at that. There was a line which stated that shareholders may give some amount to when there's a winding up of the company is needed. Okay, so I was just wondering if, like, for example, I have invested in AKD shares. So if it's the company is winding up, and if you are saying that the shareholders are members, so I will never go and give money to the. I will give any amount to the AKD, and I will just contribute. I will never do that.
Yes. See, what
So
is
that means the members can be, if there are directors, then obviously they're liable, or they can contribute to save the firm or whatever other reasons.
these other 2 points, two questions, different questions in your query. See, you have purchased $10,000 shares. Okay. But you have only paid 5,000 for now. And the remaining 5,000 you're supposed to pay by the end of the year or by the end of 6 months. Okay. And before these 6 months ended, You get the information that the company will be winding up. So now, what are you supposed to do as a shareholder? Would you pay the remaining 5,000 or would you not pay?
Not pay.
But you have to pay. That's the law. That's what they are saying, that at the time of winding up, any unpaid shares you have to pay. You are limited by your
Oh,
share amount.
okay, okay.
Okay, you can't escape this liability. That's what they're saying. Now, your second
Okay.
question, director. Director can purchase companies' shares, and in most
Yeah.
of the cases, usually in 99% of the cases, it is the requirement by the company itself that the director must be holding
20+.
some amount of shares of the company. So this makes
Yeah.
them the shareholder and the member as well. But being in the role of a director, they are acting as an agent for the company, agent for the members of the company to run the company in the best possible way, in the best ethical way. Okay, but there is a condition for the to become a director, that you must be having some amount of shares. Why? Because this ensures that the director is taking the right decision for the company, because he himself is the member, and if he takes a wrong decision, his own share prices, his own investment will also suffer the loss. Okay, next, unlimited liability companies. Unlimited companies, the members have unlimited liability. The members have
Unlimited.
unlimited liability. That means if
Hmm.
the business has failed, and if there are 10 members, then all the 10 members would be liable to clear out all the liabilities of the company. Completely liable, openly liable, not limited, unlimitedly liable. Clear? See, the liquidator can require members to contribute as much as may be required to pay the company's debts in full. When in the event
Ma'am, is there any unlimited liability here, company here? Unlimited liability company.
comes.
Is it just in books or it really exists, unlimited liability company?
That's why you will see very less companies unlimited liability.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's very less now. Very few of them. Usually, is the government operated companies that are unlimited liability. An unlimited company can only be a private company by definition. Okay. Now there is another law that comes to you, that it's a rule that an unlimited company can only be a private company. That means, sorry, I said it wrong. That government cannot form this company unlimited. A public company is always limited. Okay, public company is always limited. An unlimited company need not file a copy of its annual accounts and reports with the registrar unless during the relevant accounting reference period. Okay, can you just give me an example of an unlimited company? Any which you think that okay, is case में शायद unlimited company हो.
I've never seen any.
Yeah, same here.
Nor heard.
You have seen it, but you are right now unable to get it. You have that, I can assure. Okay. So the example over here you can use is of a family business. It's a family business. It's a registered company. तीन भाई हैं, चार भाई हैं, पांच भाई हैं. मैंने जो देखा है पाकिस्तान में, there are group of the brothers and group of
Yeah.
companies run by the brothers.
Yes, के
It's a registered company. And why it will be unlimited company? Because जब family business होता है ना, usually you don't involve the public in it. Your own family members are the shareholders of the company. And it could be आपके मतलब दूर के खानदान वाले भी आपके उस कंपनी के शेयर होल्डर्स होते हैं, whether less or more. But it's
Mm-hmm.
only the family. It's only the खानदान. No outsider. Only a group
Okay.
of 20 people who are the shareholders of the company. So this is a private company, and it does not happen कि private company public के लिए products नहीं बना रही, services नहीं दे रही. No,
Obviously.
they are selling to the public at large. They are giving services to the public at large. But the shareholder कौन होता है? जो capital invest करता है company में, जो पैसा लगाता है कंपनी में उस प्रोजेक्ट में. तो कौन लोग पैसा लगा रहे हैं? वो 20 फैमिली मेंबर्स, दैट्स इट. उस कंपनी को और पैसे की जरूरत ही नहीं है, बाकी वो खुद जनरेट कर रहे हैं ट्रेड करके, बिजनेस करके. So these 20 members have exclusive rights to run the company. They have exclusive rights and they have unlimited liability as well. कि अगर खुदा ना खास्ता business fail होता है तो they will be completely liable for it and unlimitedly as well.
What's the like benefit of like
Problem है
choosing the limit?
अनलिमिटेड लाइबिलिटी लेने के लिए फैमिली मेंबर्स को कोई मसला नहीं होता, क्योंकि फैमिली बिजनेस है. अगर प्रॉफिट भी 20 लोगों का है
Exactly.
और अगर लॉस है तो वो 20 लोगों का है, डिवाइड होगा. ठीक है. बट आप पब्लिक कंपनी में ऐसा क्यों नहीं कर सकते? क्योंकि जैसे आपने कहा व्हाई शुड आई पे एंड व्हाई वुड आई पे? आई डोंट वांट टू पे फॉर somebody else's loss. I don't want to be liable, unlimitedly liable for somebody else's loss, and that's why you won't see such companies, very common. All right, next. It is to its knowledge a subsidiary of a limited company. Two or more limited companies have exercised rights over the company. It is the parent company of a limited liability company. क्या कह रहे हैं भैया? The first rule, Ali, please read from here.
Okay, it is so okay. Unlimited company need to file a copy of its annual account and report to the registrar unless during the relevant accounting reference period.
So this is one rule of law that is coming in front of you, that an unlimited company need not file a copy of its annual accounts and reports with the registrar. That's the law. And what's the
Yep.
exception, Ali? Please read the exceptions.
Only 3 exceptions are there. First one is when it's a subsidiary of a limited company. For the reason the parent will do it himself. Second one is 2 or more limited companies have exercised the right over the company. Like which exercise one of them would have to make the company a subsidiary. Okay, when they are like partners sort of each other. So one is like doing all the things, so the other one has like an option to
Next
just
one.
last one is it is the parent company of a limited liability company.
All right. Now, with this, Kinza, can you understand what is happening? What's this?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it?
Actually, they're telling us what are the actually exclusions, what are they don't have to file up the accounts, annual accounts, in case unless it's a subsidiary company, like if there's a parent company and there's another company subsidiary, if it's that, or it has exercise rights of the company, or it's a parent company. The second one.
Okay. Hold on. This is not the point. वो सब्सिडियरी होती, वो उसके ऊपर पेरेंट होता, वो ये होता तो वो नहीं होगा. No. What are we studying? We are studying about unlimited company. This law is about unlimited company. एक unlimited company को जरूरी नहीं है, फर्ज नहीं है कि वो annual accounts अपना जाके सबको दिखाए. उसके ऊपर फर्ज नहीं है, लॉ है, खत्म बात. लेकिन एक्सेप्शन क्या है कि हाँ, अगर वो सब्सिडियरी कंपनी है किसकी? लिमिटेड कंपनी की. दैट्स द
Okay.
अगर वो
Okay.
सब्सिडियरी,
We were completely missing this point. Yes.
अगर वो उसके ऊपर, उस कंपनी के ऊपर 2 या उससे ज्यादा लिमिटेड कंपनीज अपना हक जमा रही हैं उस अनलिमिटेड कंपनी के, या फिर वो अनलिमिटेड कंपनी एक पेरेंट कंपनी है एक लिमिटेड लायबिलिटी कंपनी की,
Okay.
That's the point. That is the markaz of attention of your attention should be there. That's the relevant point. Limited liability. So अब जब MCQs में आएगा, you have to beware. Don't just see वो subsidiary, हाँ ये exception है बस. अरे भाई देखो सब्सिडियरी किसकी, लिमिटेड कंपनी की या किसकी, और ये लॉ किसके बारे में है? अनलिमिटेड कंपनी का लॉ बता रहे हैं या लिमिटेड कंपनी का लॉ बता रहे हैं? किसका एक्सेप्शन?
Unlimited. Hmm.
These words
Unlimited.
matter. Okay, next.
And when a word company is referred, so by default it would be unlimited or limited.
By default, it is unlimited. A company, by definition, by its nature, the company itself is an artificial person, and therefore it is completely liable for each and every act, each and every transaction, each and every debt, each and every profit, each and every contract. A company is a complete person. अब मैं अगर एक full person हूँ, ईशा जुबैर is a person, so am I responsible for my actions or not?
Completely.
Yes.
Completely. How can I escape that liability? How can I say I'm limitedly liable for my own actions? No, you can't say that. So company itself is a complete person. It will be treated as a person. It will be seen by law as a person. And the limited or unlimited definition, the word, the title before or after it is just showing the members' situation of the
नहीं, पेज में नहीं, जाओ.
public and private companies. I'm not going to discuss this, not at all. You're going to go through this yourself. F1 brought forward knowledge. Difference between private and public company. I would like you to make this again in comparison, the notes. Additional classifications. Parent company, subsidiary companies. Who's a parent company? Who's a subsidiary company? You guys know or you don't know? Just tell me.
Yes, we know.
You know.
I know.
So, you know, you just need to go through these points. Majority voting rights, it's a member, the subsidiary has the right to appoint or remove majority of its directors. It has the right to exercise a dominant influence over the subsidiary by virtue of provisions or by virtue of control contract. So these are the parent company's rights. Further, it is a member of the subsidiary and controls alone. A company is also a parent if the power to exercise it, and the subsidiary are managed on a unified basis. They are considered to be one family. Parent and subsidiary are considered to be one family. तो एक पेरेंट हो गया, एक बच्चा हो गया, तो आप जाहिर है अपने बच्चे की जिम्मेदारी आप लेते हो एज अ पेरेंट, यस और नो? If he commits a crime, he does something, you yourself also take the liability as a parent. If he becomes successful, then also you take the credit. Oh, मेरी तरबियत है,
Yeah.
हाँ मेरा बेटा है, right? So that's the same case over here. Okay. Quoted companies, small companies regime. What are quoted companies? Quoted नाम से ही समझ जाना चाहिए कि स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में इनका नाम है, कोटा है. तो स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में जिस भी कंपनी का नाम है, कोटा है, दैट मीन्स दे आर हैविंग देयर शेयर्स इन द मार्केट, कीपिंग द ऑप्शन ओपन. But this option is not open for private companies. Point to be noted. Private companies यानी closed group है, family members है या closed 20 लोगों का बस group है, सबके लिए ये shares open नहीं है. Not public cannot invest in that company freely and openly. The capital only lies with few individuals. So private companies cannot become quoted companies. Point to be noted. Private companies cannot become quoted companies. Only public companies can become quoted companies as their shares can be sold in the stock exchange. Then in the stock market. Small companies regime. Ali, padhiye.
Small companies benefit from the small companies regime. Reduced legal requirement in the term of filing accounts with the registrar and obtaining an audit. The definition of small company for the purposes of accounts and auditing are almost identical.
क्या कह रहे?
Like they are small, so their requirement are so, and they don't have like
They
the
have
requirement to do and
exactly they
yeah,
have reduced legal requirements. यानी इनकी formality
no,
थोड़ा कम है. क्यों? क्योंकि ये
कम
small
होती है.
इनका स्लैब छोटा है, ये उस रेंज में आते हैं, तो इनके लिए इसलिए लवाजमात भी कम है. इनके लिए भाई आपको इतना फॉर्मल ये भी जमा कराओ, वो भी जमा कराओ, ये भी जमा कराओ, नहीं नहीं नहीं, बस
बहुत कम.
करा दो, हो गया, जाओ खोल लो. ठीक. फॉर अकाउंटिंग टर्म्स भी अब ये सारी रेंजेस हैं, किससे कम होगा, 50 एम्प्लॉय से कम होंगे, टर्नओवर 10.2 से कम होगा, 5.1 से कम होगा, ऑडिट पर्पस के लिए स्मॉल है. Then micro entities regime. Micro entities regime also have a set of, they also have advantage of certain accounting exemptions. Accounting exemptions हैं, simple profit and loss accounts हैं, balance sheets हैं, and only providing a minimum of accounting information. Entity is classed as micro if it meets at least two of the following conditions. Now, point to be noted, this is something which you need to learn. The difference between a small company regime and micro entity regime, what's the difference? These 3 points over here and those 3 points above. These two, this is the difference. Over here, 50 employees or less. Over here, the average number of employees must not be more than 10. That's a major.
ठीक.
Then balance sheet total not more than 3,16,000 pounds. Over here, not more than 10.2 million. Over here, not more than 632,000 pounds. Over here, not more than 5.1.
Okay.
This is how you are comparing these two, small and micro. Next, multinational company, we know, no need to explain. Effect of legal personality, Salmon versus Salmon company case. Of course, it's a case study. You can go through it. That why they clear, because of this case, you can clearly understand that why company was considered or demonstrate a separate legal personality. Why is it emphasized so much? Okay. Uh, Veil of incorporation. What is veil of incorporation? Any idea?
Veil, basically,
Nothing new in this
you
chapter.
can say a curtain sort of thing in
Curtain.
the guise of something. Yep, you can say.
Kinza, any idea?
Specific circumstances, I guess.
Okay, now अब आते हैं reality. Do you think कि company एक separate person है,
Artificial?
artificial है, मगर क्या वो real person है? क्या वो खुद से जाके
No.
स्कैम कर रही है, पेपर में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बना रही है?
No.
No. कुछ लोग उसके बिहाफ पे ये सारे काम कर रहे हैं. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Known as director, known as board members, okay, known as NEDs, EDs, executive directors, non-executive directors. So these people are running the business, running the company with the name of the company, on behalf of the company, taking actions, and they are doing. So in reality, the court, the judges and everybody know that company bahayasiyat mein ye nahi bol sakti yahan pe ye company hai.
Hmm.
ये ठीक है, कंपनी का नाम है, कोका कोला इज द नेम ऑफ द कंपनी, बट देर आर सम पीपल हु आर रनिंग दिस कंपनी. सो
That's
अगर
right.
कोई गलत काम हुआ है, if the business has failed, if the business has gone into debt, gone bankrupt, if the business is has been caught in a crime, who is responsible? Those 5 people or 10 people who are running the business. Yes or no?
Business. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Ultimately, if the case comes to the court and somebody is blaming the company for money laundering, so whom shall the court call? The court is going to call Coca-Cola, aajo zara,
Jail में चलो.
right? No. The court will, the judges will call the directors, the runners, the show runners. Who is running the show? Those 5 people, those 5 directors, 10 directors, they will be coming. Now, when they will be coming, they will be not coming as people. They will be coming as Coca-Cola company is coming. But when the case will be investigated, of course, there will be time when the evidences would be looked into. एक एक करके जब बाल की खाल निकालेंगे, जब एक एक करके एक एक सिरे को, एक एक धागे को चेक करेंगे, खोलेंगे, एक एक एविडेंस को खोलेंगे, तो दे हैव टू अनवील, अनफोल्ड द व्हील. व्हाट इज वेल? वेल क्या होता है? वेल उसको कहते हैं जो हिजाब होता है ना, पर्दा.
और जो
दैट्स कॉल्ड.
Pada.
उस पर्दे को हटाना पड़ेगा, देखना पड़ेगा कि वाकई में हु वाज रिस्पांसिबल फॉर दिस क्राइम, किसका मास्टरमाइंड था पीछे, who was manipulating the accounts, who was transferring these funds, who was the one misguiding the shareholders. So that is veil of incorporation, which would be lifted by whom? It would be lifted by either the state or by law, by force or by the circumstances. They would be forced to show कि कोका कोला के पीछे वो कौन सा आदमी था जिसने धोखा दिया कंपनी को भी, मेंबर्स को भी, और इतना ये प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट हुआ. That's the veil of incorporation. Okay. Veil of incorporation is the hijab, and to lift the veil is for in certain situations the court, the state will be doing it, because of course there are set of people who are running the show. That's called lifting the veil. Separate personality can be ignored. Ali padhiye.
Separate personality can be ignored. Identify the company with its member or director. Treat a group of companies as a single commercial entity.
So that's what lifting a veil does.
Hmm.
It ignores the separate personality. It shows the members. It brings the group of companies as a single commercial entity. All right. Can go through this. Liability for trading without trading certificate. As we read earlier, that you must get your trading certificate within a year's time. And if the company does not get a trading certificate within a year's time, then it has to stop working. It cannot trade. Legally, it will not get the license to trade. Okay. So incorporation certificate is different. Trading certificate is different. Both are different. Don't think that these two are.
Ma'am, is the certificate Chamber of Commerce? If we're like doing a business and we need to get a certificate,
Get it
so
from
it's
the
that.
registrar. Okay. Now, whatever the name of the registrar is, it's up to the country. They name it as Chamber of Commerce, they name it as Chamber of, or they just name it as registrar. Whatever they have named it, they need to first, you want to create a company, you need incorporation certificate, which is the birth certificate. You need to do business, you need to start, you need to take your trading certificate to start trading legally. Okay. These two are different. Fraudulent, wrongful trading, we have done this. Disqualified directors, directors who participate in the management of the company in contravention of an order under Companies Directors Disqualification Act will be jointly, severally liable along with the company for the company's loss. Now, what is it saying? What is this para saying? Important.
Director who participates in the management of company convention in order under will be jointly severally liable along with the company of the company.
जो directors disqualify हो जाते हैं या उन्हें कर दिया जाता है, for example they have resigned or maybe the company has struck them out, they are not elected, they are disqualified, they cannot be the director or they cannot act in the role of a director. Those people are known as disqualified directors. But what they do when criminal act is involved, any illegal activity is involved, it happens often a time that a person who was disqualified, who cannot be a director, is in reality acting as a director and manipulating the accounts and manipulating and misleading the shareholders, misguiding them. So they were responsible and they came in front of the court. That means the court investigated the case and his name came in front. तो अब हम क्या बोलेंगे कि नहीं, ये तो डायरेक्टर था ही नहीं, तो ये तो लायबल ही नहीं हुआ, इसको क्यों सजा सुना रहे हो, ये बोलेंगे? नो, हम बोलेंगे नहीं, तुमने ये हरकत की है, you are jointly severally liable along with the company for the company's debts. Why did you acted as a director when you were not? Who asked you to be a director, right? And plus you're involved in such kind of a thing, you made the company bankrupt or spoiled the name of the company, whatever. Abuse of company names. How you can abuse a company name? You remember we studied that Phoenix company. A Phoenix company is a fake company. Using the name, abuse कर रहे हैं ना नाम. अगर यहाँ पे कोई fake product बिक रहा है किसी brand का, तो abuse कर रहे हैं ना company के नाम को.
True.
Yes.
So that's one of the examples. Further, Ali, read.
In the past, there were a number of instances where directory companies went into this insolvent liquidation from another company with the identical or similar name. Is this new company bought the original company business and asset from the liquidator. The Insolvency Act 1986 makes it criminal offense, and the directors personally liable where they are director of the company that goes into the insolvent liquid and become involved in the directing, managing, and promoting the business which has the identical name or a name similar to the suggest a connection.
क्या समझ आ रही है किंजा?
Ma'am, like you have already made it clear that whenever we are just winding up a company, we should be having logical, proper reasons. If the directors are just winding up the company and making up their own company, maybe of a little bit of different name, so it's an abuse. Sometimes they are just following the same name, sometimes they are coming up with a little bit different name, but the field is almost the same. Like for example, if it's a juice factory, the other juice factory is also coming up, or maybe any other liquid factory.
That means पागल बना रहे हैं ना, एक कंपनी को
Exactly.
फेल कर दिया गया है जो उसको वो रन कर रहे हैं, there is a reason behind it, it failed or whatever, they were unable to pay the,
Or maybe they had their own reasons, their own
they are shutting down this company, or the court has given orders to shut down this company, and the directors are doing something clever which they think it's very clever, that we will purchase our own company's assets and we will create a
exactly.
company, and we will just change the name slightly or the spelling slightly, and we will same चीज एक दूसरे नाम के साथ यहाँ आके वही हरकत करने के लिए शुरू हो गए. This is abuse of company names and it is considered as criminal offense. You can't do this. You can't operate in the same sector with the same products, with the same services, just a little bit slightly change of the spelling of the name. And again, it's identical name, not completely different name, just identical name. Lifting the veil to prevent evasion of obligations. All right. Why when a court can lift the veil? Number one, to find the real corrupt person. Number two, so that any person cannot evade their existing legal obligations. Evade, escape, बच बचा के भागना. मेरी जिम्मेदारी मेरी है मगर मैं बच बचा के भाग जाऊं. बोलो इमरजेंसी आ गई, इमरजेंसी आ गई, मैं भाग जाऊंगा. I don't know. I cannot escape this. And if I'm trying to escape this, the court has the full authority, full power to lift the veil and check out who's trying to escape and who is responsible, who's truly responsible. Okay. So I hope all of this is clear. Public interest, evasion of liabilities, evasion of taxation, quasi partnership, lifting the veil in group situations. Okay, I think it's a big chapter. Summary of situations, comparison of companies. Okay, ठीक है, आज हम यहीं तक रखते हैं. It's a big chapter. We will complete the rest tomorrow. Okay, no need to rush and just finish it quickly. यहाँ तक पढ़ के आइएगा. जो चीज समझ ना आए पूछ लीजिएगा. Okay, we are stopping till here for today. Any other?
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for your cooperation, for understanding. अली को ज्यादा टाइम मिल गया सोने का, खुश हो रहा था अली. हाँ हाँ मैम, टेक योर टाइम मैम, नो प्रॉब्लम.
Actually, I was confused to go somewhere, but fortunately, you said that you are going to come late, so I came there and just went back within time.
हर काम में
Managed to do that.
हिम्मत होती है.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Have a great
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
You
ma'am.
too.
Have a good
Thanks.
day.
Allah Hafiz.